This video is made possible by all these insanely amazing, lovely people that you see right here. Thanks to them, I'm able to do YouTube videos as a full-time job. My channel wouldn't have gone as far as it has without them, so I am eternally grateful for them granting me this incredible gig that I am so lucky to have. And if you like what I do too, it would mean the world to me if you had a look at my Patreon page. There's all kinds of goodies there, like early access to videos, Telegram chats, helping me decide what videos to make, custom art, and a lot more. Otherwise, keep on keeping on, because you're still amazing just for sitting through this clip for me. Alright, it's time for the video, hope you enjoy!
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Bottle in my Pocari again. This Kigu is pretty much my life now. But let's get back to the bottle episode at hand. Now, I have talked about how to prepare for suiting and the sort of things to do when you are suiting, but I haven't really touched on what to do when you're done suiting. I feel like it'd be pretty obvious to my fellow veteran fursuiters out there, but maybe not so much for the newbies out there, so let's give it a go. Firstly, keep in mind this is not a strict how-to, you know, there are no strict rules you have to follow here. Just some tips on how to keep you refreshed and get your energy back and how to keep your suit nice and clean so it's ready to be used again. I'm also going to be talking about this from someone of like average fitness, or well, below average if you're like me, so if you know what you are and aren't capable of, make sure you adjust accordingly. So, let's say you've been fursuiting in a park for the last 2 hours, you're feeling pretty done and you're ready to call it a day. So, what's the first thing you do? Find somewhere to take your head off. It might be back where you put your suit on, it might be just in the middle of everyone right there, and it might be behind a tree. Just make sure you get it off pretty soon, because if you keep that on, you're gonna start getting pretty sick. You know, don't be afraid to break the magic if it is for the sake of your health. Your health is far more important. For me, where I take my head off, it depends where I'm suiting. So like, when I'm among other furries, like in a con or a meet where I know everyone's a furry, I'll just take it off wherever. I'll take it off in the middle of people, I don't really care, because we're all furries, we all know what's going on. I'll still try and make my way to the headless lounge, but I would be afraid to take it off in the open. But among the public, I prefer to wait until we're a bit more out of view. Like, I won't go and hide, but just when not as many public is seeing us, I'll take my head off and then just walk with my head back to wherever my suitcases are. Your next most important task is to find some water. Hopefully you brought some with you. I find it's a good idea to just rest and rehydrate before I take the rest of my suit off, just so it's not like such a shock to my body. I like to do it very slowly. And I'm usually too dead to take the rest of it off immediately anyway. And after a little bit, I'll take off just like the top half of my fursuit, so I'll unzip it and just like leave it hanging there, so I'm just wearing my leggies. I also recommend having a sports drink like Pocari Sweat alongside your water, because they're really good at replenishing your electrolytes and other nutrients that you've lost in all the sweating you've just been doing. Not essential, but handy, and just make sure you don't drink it as fast as you would like water, because otherwise you're going to end up with a bit of a stomachache. But once you've rested and feeling a little bit replenished, it's time to get the rest of that suit off and pack it up. And I hope you remember to bring your fursuit disinfectant. I have been guilty of forgetting many times before, so hopefully you're not like me and you actually remembered. If you're putting your fursuit straight back into a box or a suitcase, just give it a light spray. But if you're like just up at your hotel room and you're gonna hang it up, make sure you give it a proper, thorough, big spray. You only want to do it lightly when it's going in storage, because you don't want to add heaps more moisture on top of all the moisture that's already in there. Because you know what happens to something that's really moist when it's in a enclosed space, it gets pretty gross pretty quick. So just a little spray will just help it survive until you can take it out and give it the proper spray. I would highly advise against leaving your suit in its case for more than 12 hours, because that's when it gets really gross. You will absolutely have to give your fursuit a full wash if you do that, because it's just going to infuse and grow grossness while it's all sitting there in this moist, dank horribleness. If you absolutely have no choice and you have to leave it stored away for longer than that straight after suiting, at least please get a little wardrobe dehumidifier, you know, those little like beads in the tiny packets. Get one of those and put it inside your head. That will at least help stop mold from growing in your head. They're also really good just to like hang up wherever you would normally store your suits to keep them all nice and crispy fresh. Another good thing to do before you put it in a box is give it a light brush. You don't have to give it like a full heavy brush if you're just putting it back in a box, but giving it a light one just helps it stay a little bit nicer. But if you are hanging it up, you do want to give it a full brush, because that way as the moisture leaves your suit, the fur will dry all nice and brushed, which will keep it looking nicer for longer, so you can suit for longer before it starts getting all like scruffy and you need a brush. And if you don't do this at all, if you just like leave it to dry and leave it and just give it a brush before you suit, I find it gets pretty gross pretty quick, and your suit will have like a oily look to it. It's not pleasant, even though it might actually be completely clean. But let's say you're away from your home or your hotel, you've just finished packing up your suit, you've gotten hydrated, you're changed out of your Under Armour. The next good thing to do is put on some deodorant or some body spray, because odds are you stink. And if you're out and about, you're not going to have immediate access to a shower, so don't offend everyone around you and spray yourself with some nice nice smelly things. Also, please don't spray things designed for people on your fursuit. On the surface it sounds like a good idea, but there can be some pretty harsh chemicals in some of these sprays, and if there's one thing fursuits don't like, it's harsh chemicals, and it could eat away at your fur or leave it with a gross residue that you can't get rid of. So please wait until you are out of your suit before you shower yourself in Axe. So, now that you're ready to rejoin civilization, it's time to get some food. Suiting uses a lot of energy, so you gotta replenish that as soon as you can before you start to crash and burn. Now, I'm no dietitian or healthy food expert. Hey, I live on Peeps. I am literally the last person you should be asking for health advice. So I can't really recommend any particular foods to have, but you want something nice and solid, preferably some kind of meal. I usually grab lunch on the way back from wherever I'm suiting, and my go-to is Japanese food. I find their meals are really good all-rounded because you get some meat, you get some rice, you get some veggies, and it doesn't break the bank either. But if you're someone who actually has their life together and could cook a meal yourself, then do that when you get home. If you know it's going to be a little while before you're going to be able to get something to eat after you finish suiting, please bring a snack. Just something that won't go bad as you're out having fun and you can just snack on it between getting your meal. So something like a bag of chips. So snack on that while you're having your water or your sports drink when you're finished suiting, and that should hopefully tie you over until it's mealtime. If you have any health conditions that may be affected by strenuous activity without food, please talk to your doctor about it. Again, I'm not a health professional, so I cannot offer any advice in regards to different conditions. Just because I've had a lot of people ask me about that sort of stuff, so please talk to your doctor, not blue kangaroos. Alright, so let's say you've just gotten home. The first thing you want to do is rescue your fursuit from its case or tote or box or whatever you stored in it. You need to get the sweat and yuck out of your suit ASAP before it starts damaging your suit, so take it out of its case, hang it all up. And then disinfect it and brush it like I mentioned before. Give it a nice solid spray on the inside and give it a full-on brush from head to toe. I also like to do a few sprays of fursuit disinfectant into my suitcases because they're made out of material and that just helps them be a little bit fresher as well. But yeah, don't forget to brush and disinfect all your suit parts, everything. If it got sweat on it, it needs to be brushed and disinfected. And make sure you leave them somewhere the air can circulate through them as well. There's no point on getting them all wet and then putting them somewhere none of the wet can go. So paws, I recommend hanging up with a peg, so I'll usually peg them together and hang them on top of something. Feet, you want to fold down the sides back so they're nice and open and that all can air out lovely. And heads, you want to get the neck and fold that back as far as it can go and leave it on its side, upside down, or on a head dryer. However, if the eyes on your fursuit's head, the paint in them, if that's not sealed, then you want to sit your head so that the eyes are facing upwards so that the disinfectant doesn't run down into them. If you're not sure, just do it anyway. It's better to be safe than sorry. Now, I also get asked if you can put your suit in the sun outside to air out and dry, and my answer to that is maybe. It all depends on your suit, because some fur will get sun bleached and some will not. Ask your maker or test a bit of scrap fur to find out if it can be sun damaged. However, if your head or any other part of your suit is made out of foam, you definitely want to keep that out of the sun because UV rays actually deteriorate foam. You don't want that. Obviously not to the point where you can't wear a fursuit outside. We all fursuit in the sun all the time. It just will make it age faster than it should. So make sure you store them out of the sun too. So yeah, fursuits in the sun technically can work, but it's at your own risk and it's not a whole lot different from leaving it in the shade anyway. So now that your fursuit's all out and drying and being all brushed and awesome, you want to put your Under Armour in the washing machine. Especially if it's a cheaper brand. I find the cheaper brands tend to get stinky a lot quicker and they hold the smell a lot more, so you want to get that washed ASAP. Then there is just one more really stinky, sweaty thing that you need to clean. You. You've just spent hours in your own personal sweat sauna. It's time to get clean, Mr. Musky Husky. Give yourself a really good scrubbing, maybe with some contact caffeine soap? Yeah, okay, I'm doing another contact caffeine plug. It's literally just one of my favorite things in the world. But legitimately, they're really good for washing yourself after fursuiting because there is caffeine in the soap. That's where they get the name, contact caffeine. It's caffeine via contact. So using their soaps will give you a little bit of an energy boost. Just keep in mind that because there is caffeine in the soap, they also don't recommend people under 18 use their soaps. Sorry guys, now that you're all clean, you are pretty much done. Once your suit parts are done airing out and drying, like I'll usually give it a day or two, you can put them away wherever you need to. If they are still really stinky and just gross, then it is probably time for a full wash, and that needs a whole video in itself, so make sure to check out my bottle episode on fursuit washing. I think pretty much everyone has their own unique like post-fursuiting ritual process thing, so please do let me know in the comments in which order you like to do things, or maybe you do something that I didn't mention. Please let me know because I would love to hear it. That's it for this video though. Happy fursuiting, stay clean, stay fresh, stay brushed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!